And I think Scott felt it too, because those of you who are in the room remember that he told us that night that he was feeling tingly. I don't know if you remember that comment, but everybody who was in the room certainly remembered that one. And then, thanks to all the work of the people in this room and the great candidate, on January 19th, we were all feeling tingly. So it is my great privilege and honor to introduce to you a Republican from Massachusetts, United States Senator Scott Brown.
A nice warm welcome, and your wife is very smart. And I wish you well. I wanted to come out here and help Kurt as he helped me, one of the early people to help get signatures and get over that first hump. It was a dedicated asset to our team, and I'm a very loyal person. I like to reward folks that have been helpful, do the best I can when I can to help, and I think Kurt has a great shot, and you have to do what you did with me. You have to open up your wallets as you've done. You have to open up your homes and your houses when you have events so he can come out and meet your friends. Get on your email list. Make sure your kids get, when they get back to school next fall, make sure they get out and vote, not only if there's a primary, but more importantly in the general election. And just get the momentum going. Keep it going. Make sure that you, because he's in a tough district, you know, it's a little interesting district. And I know there are Democrats in here and independents and Republicans. It's a Big Tent philosophy. There are many Democrat friends I know that want to make sure that their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids can have a nice life and not be saddled with the debt that's happening federally, $13 trillion, probably in the next week, I would say. But more importantly, what's happening in Beacon Hill. You've had 3 speakers indicted. You've got a one-party system that is just broken, and that's the sense of entitlement, the sense of fair play that's not there anymore. So you need to make sure that you get people up there to have balance. And if Charlie Baker gets elected, you will have the ability to at least have one person there, but you're going to need to give them foot soldiers, the ability to sustain a veto, the ability to have good people up there who know what it's like to get up in the morning, work hard, know what the value of a dollar is, and know what it's like to have some fairness in good government and know how to present a good case logically, fairly, maturely, without any finger pointing, and that's why I'm here for Kurt. I was supposed to be down in Foxwoods with my daughter Ayla, who's doing some contract negotiations on some things. But I felt this was important because I gave you my word I'd be here, and I'm here. And I want to thank you all for everything. There's so many familiar faces, and I remember everybody and all the things that you all did. It was amazing to the energy. The enthusiasm, and you're right, I was tingly, and I told you that. And it's true, I felt this energy that I've never felt in my adult life, aside from the birth of my kids and my marriage and a couple of other important things in my life. So this election made it to that level. So anybody who did, obviously I know a lot of people donated, they get signatures, they did the homemade signs, they got their friends, their family throughout the country to get involved. Thank you. If you didn't make it one of the so-called thank you tours. And things are pretty intense. Right now I'm still the #1 target. I'm out raising money, I'm working hard, I'm battling every single day. I'm pulling in about 18, 19-hour days every single day. You're definitely getting your money's worth out of me. I've seen in the last 2 weeks until this weekend, I saw my wife about 5 hours. So on the one hand, that's pretty good. On the other hand, it's not. So it depends on how you look at it. But all kidding aside, that's the hardest part, is not being with your family, because we're very, very close family, and so that part I miss. But I can assure you that the things that are happening in Beacon Hill, they're happening in Washington too. Except they're bigger buildings and bigger numbers. Same problems, but they're bigger. For example, when I left to go to Pakistan and Afghanistan about a week and a half ago, the national debt was at $12.25 trillion. When I got back, it was at $12.8 trillion. I mean, that's how quickly and how fast things are moving. And we've done healthcare, which they ran through a parliamentary maneuver to make sure that they took over an industry by using reconciliation. First time in history they did something that big. And it's not right, because it's not working, because right now, let's take one instance, the medical device tax. For Boston Scientific, that's $1 trillion, just that one tax. So how are they going to pay for that, number one? More importantly, what are they going to do? They're going to cut jobs, they're going to stop R&D, how are they going to do it? So a lot of those companies, when they expand, are actually going already overseas. There's a whole host of other things that are wrong with that particular bill. There's not enough doctors. They're still cutting $500 billion plus in Medicare. They're still going to raise taxes. So we need to repeal certain parts of that and replace it. And in Massachusetts, we have health care. It's not perfect, but we have a plan that we're paying for. We're also paying for a federal plan now. So we're getting whacked on both ends. And now they're trying to ram through financial regulation reform. The Dodd bill is not a good bill. There are some good parts to it, don't get me wrong. And I want us to fix this issue, don't get me wrong there. And you know, the Boston Herald yesterday, I don't know where that comes from. They didn't contact my office. We didn't deny them access or information. They didn't ask any questions about what they wrote about yesterday, and that's typical. I'm used to it. But the bill, the way it's being proposed right now, there still is a too big to fail mentality. They haven't stopped that. There still is this provision within the Volcker rule, it's technical, that prohibits insurance companies to take their investors' money and invest it in small businesses. They've been doing it that way, Mass Mutual, Liberty Mutual, Fidelity, State Street, for over 100 years, to invest in small businesses and get that return to help pay their on the policies. That's how they pay off their policies, through business investment. Can't do it. So what does that mean? It means about 30,000 jobs in Massachusetts. And we've been banging away. I think I resolved that issue, but there's about 5 or 6 other things that we really need to get a handle on. Then it's a good bill. So my hope is that over the weekend they're continuing to work. I heard them on TV today, the 2 chairs talking it through. I got a good feeling about it. Next, they're doing immigration reform. Now they're looking at cap and trade climate. When I was in Pakistan and Afghanistan, the only thing they talked about, from President Karzai, President in Pakistan, prime ministers, all the way down to the poorest farmer, was jobs. Jobs, 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 jobs. And what are they talking about here? Everything but jobs. Everything but jobs. The only way we're going to get this economy moving again is through job creation. The only way. And when I battle with the governor and the president and say, listen, we don't have no new jobs, they come back, oh yeah, we have new jobs. Yeah, of course we have new jobs in some sectors, but we've lost 53,000 jobs. We have no net job growth in Massachusetts. We've lost millions of jobs in the country. Yeah, we've created a new sector here and there of new jobs, but the overall job loss, so it's the only, Beacon Hill and Capitol Hill, it's the only 2 places where they use this political gobbledygook, and it makes you think like they're creating jobs when they're not. They're spending your money, they're raising taxes, they're raising the debt, and I've said it before, we need to do a top-to-bottom review of every federal program and eliminate the waste. That's over $1 trillion right there. And you need to look at Medicare and Medicaid. If there's fraud and abuse and they're losing $500 billion, then get it back and fix it. So I could go on forever about what's wrong. But what's right